video is sponsored by Squarespace. If you need a website, a domain or an online store, make your next move with Squarespace. Hello there everyone, we have finally made it to Tasmania. Let me tell you about our day. It started yesterday night. Richard, who is over here, and I took a plane. We left at around about 11:45, midnight flight across to Melbourne and a connecting flight through to Tasmania. We landed in Hobart round about 9:30, 20 to 10, where we met up with this guy over here, Andrew. So I will connect their, or link their channels below. I'm really excited about this. This is a trip that we've been planning for about a month, and we've hired out a van. We're going to take off around Tasmania for around about 8 or 9 days. Lots of different landscapes that Tasmania has to offer. There's mountains, it's snowing at the moment across a couple of the peaks, rivers, waterfalls, and then there's the coast, up the west coast of Tasmania. There's some amazing rugged seascapes. Whether we're all going to get it all in those 9 days, probably not, but geez, we're going to have some fun. So where are we now? Well, we've come up to Mount Fields National Park to camp for the night, at least tonight. And in this area there are 3 waterfalls. Russell Waterfall, which is probably Tasmania's most famous waterfall. Plus there's the Horseshoe Waterfall. Which one are we going to?
Lady Barron.
And the third one, which is actually going to be our first visit, is Lady Barron Waterfall. So that's where we're headed now. We've just walked over the first ridge and we're now walking down about 300 steps down to where this waterfall is. Now, I've never been here. I always love visiting new locations for the first time. So it's going to take me some time to just get used to the area. I'll spend some time exploring. Andrew's actually been here before, but this is Richard and my first time here. Anyway, enough talking. I'll keep walking down here and I'll see you at the bottom. So of course, leaving at midnight last night, travelling all the way through the night, we didn't get too much sleep. Connecting flight across to Hobart, hire car, and then we've been driving ever since. So we've been going for nearly 36 hours, so we're pretty tired, particularly Richard and myself, but we're pretty excited at the same time. Anyway, I'm keen to see what's down here. So not only am I excited about this because it's a new location and I've never photographed a landscape shot in Tasmania before. I have been here once before, but not for landscape photography. So I'm excited about the trip. I'm also really keen about the prospects of collaborating again with some other landscape photographers. Richard and I have done a collaboration before. We went up to the dunes near Cervantes. I'll link that video up here. And Andrew was going to come out with us on that trip. Wasn't able to make it, so it's really special that Richard and I have been able to make it across here and the 3 of us have been able to get together and start this adventure. Cannot wait to see the sort of landscapes we're going to be able to capture this week. So we've been walking through this incredible rainforest, full of logs that have fallen over, covered with vivid green moss. It's just spectacular, and it takes my breath away. The fern trees, the Tasmanian fern trees that are just littered throughout this place. Just incredible. It's otherworldly. I'm just so impressed with the beauty of this rainforest. I'm hoping I'm capturing it in the footage that I'm recording, but you know, it's just so much more impressive when you're actually here. Tasmania has got an incredible array of forests, and this has got to be one of the best. Unbelievable. Anyway, we've been walking for nearly 2 kilometres. The track is pretty good, but it's up and down, and as you can see, I've got pretty hot along the way, so I've taken off a few layers, but you can still feel that crispiness in the air, and I imagine the second I stop, I'm going to cool down pretty quickly. Absolutely incredible. That is beautiful. Take a look at this. Pretty loud, so hopefully you can pick me up over the sound of the water falling, cascading across multiple levels here. The challenge now is, do we have time to find a composition that captures this magnificent waterfall? Let's have a go. It's a little bit frustrating because there's a path clearly for visitors to come, and then there's a few lookouts, but it's so overgrown and so difficult to get a decent shot even from those lookouts. Really the only option is the one that's closest to the waterfall. Andrew's just had a couple of minutes there taking a shot. Richard's having a go now, and then I'll be third in line. Talk me through what you're thinking.
It's pretty tricky here. I'm assuming you can hear me. So the viewing platform here is really quite small. Really only room for one of us at a time. And on top of that, we've got this tree here, which means we really have to be over to the left of the platform to, well, in my opinion, to get a decent view of the falls. Like, I think there's potential for a nice composition. We've got a fallen log that's just perfectly lined up, pointing up to the falls. I'm thinking a vertical composition to have that in the bottom left-hand corner, heading up there. So that's what I'm working on. Let's just see if I can actually execute it.
I haven't got a lot of time, so I've gone straight with the 17 to 35. I'm at 17, the widest possible. And it's a really challenging situation because I've got the running water, so I want to take that at a certain shutter speed, and there's a lot of water, so I want that to be quite a quick shutter speed because I want to capture a little bit of detail. Behind the waterfall there's all this dark foliage, and that's really, really dark. Plus there's the logs in the foreground, which are also dark. There's lots of shadows, so I want to be able to make sure that I get the detail there, so I have to have quite a slow shutter speed, a long exposure to pick out those details. On top of that, a third complication is that I've got the sky right behind that dark foliage, and that's being blown out by both the shutter speed when I capture the water and also the shutter speed when I capture the darker foliage and the shadow in the foreground. So I have to take a third image with quite a quick shutter speed for that sky, and I'm going to have to try and blend those three together in Lightroom. As you can see, I haven't got any filters. It's too difficult to put filters on for this sort of scene. There's no clean lines. A soft grad would just darken down that foliage in the background anyway. I'm focusing around about a third of the way into the image on a log that's just coming in from the left-hand side. That'll give me a sharp image all the way through the scene. So with that setup, I'm on f16 ISO 100. And at the moment my shutter speed is 5 seconds because I'm exposing for the shadows. But when I was exposing for the water, my shutter speed was around about a second. For the sky, it was closer to half a second to a quarter of a second. Anyway, I'll take a look at each of those images in Lightroom, blend them together, and I'll show you the image now. Well, that's it, guys. The light has beaten us. It's probably taken us a little bit longer than we had anticipated to come down to this first falls. We just don't have enough light to get up to the second falls. So who knows, we might be able to do that tomorrow morning. We're camping in a camping area very, very close. We've got to go back there, cook something to eat and rest up for another day of landscape adventuring tomorrow. I'd like to thank Squarespace for sponsoring this video. They're a fantastic company to work with and I really do appreciate their support for the channel. If you're not too sure who Squarespace is, I encourage you to check them out. They provide an online platform that make it really easy to build a website. There's a variety of unique templates that you can use to get yourself started, and then you can customize each of those templates to make the website look and feel the way you want it to. What I like about Squarespace is I never have to worry about any of the updates. They take care of everything. So all I have to do is just focus on the content I want to share through my website. Go to squarespace.com for a free month trial. If you do check them out and want to go ahead with your website, go to squarespace.com/Andrew Marr to get 10% off your first purchase. I hope you enjoyed this video, this first look at our adventure in Tasmania. If you did like the video, then please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel and you haven't already, please subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the other Tasmanian adventures we have coming up. But until next time, guys, thanks very much for watching.